Hal Du Bois, and I'm speaking with Mark Monday, trying to get a little information from Mark about this endeavor that he's embarking on with the production of Hamlet at Kent State University. And how did you get the assignment to direct Hamlet? How does that process work?
Well, the directors, there are 3 on-staff directors in our department, and anybody can put forth a title. But the directors also put forth a number of titles depending on the shows in the past, the students that you have available, the casting pool. What have we done recently? What haven't we done? What do we need to do? What does the student population need to do? This was a Shakespeare year, and looking at the cast of characters that we have throughout the department, I thought Hamlet would be a good title.
Talking about that casting pool, I have been thrilled that you've kind of opened up the pre-production process to the community through this Our Hamlet project. Can you explain how you approach the audition process?
Well, I think every director approaches it slightly differently. I try to make it as comfortable for the actor as I possibly can, to be friends with the actor, because what I want to see is the actor's best work. And the only time an actor can really do his or her best work is when they're comfortable.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you approach the audition process?
Sure. I believe that the director or a casting director, whomever is casting the production, wants the next person who comes in the room to be Hamlet. Okay, job's over. Too easy. Here, we have the duty to see anybody who wants to audition that's affiliated with Kent State University or other campuses.
They would do their prepared piece, and you would stop and say, I think you used the word adjustment. Let's make a little adjustment, using it as a teaching experience.
Well, it's more than that. Most directors give actors that they're interested in an adjustment to see if they can make the adjustment.
Right.
Because if you can do it in an audition, then you know that you've got a good chance of doing it in the rehearsal process. What you really want to look for is the actors who cannot make the adjustment. And that's probably, okay, maybe a fine actor, you don't know, but if they can't make an adjustment on the spot, then for whatever reason, you haven't connected, they haven't understood you, and you understand that may be a problem down the road.
Element of coachability.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's shift a little bit
Yep.
to the text of the play. Explain to us how you have started that process. I know you're in the middle of it right now.
Right. It's a really long process. It takes well over a year to do it properly, because you have to look at, not everybody, I have to look at the quarto, I have to look at the folio, I have to look at the riverside, I have to look at the Arden. And what I'm looking for is different punctuation. In quarto 2, in this play, there are certain scenes that are omitted, and certain scenes that just don't exist in additions, like the riverside. So I'm looking to put together our script for our Hamlet. And it takes a long time, because it's not only scenes and how the scenes fit together. In our production, as you've read the working copy, I've juxtaposed several things. I've put scenes in different places, and I'm doing this not for an academic exercise, but to make the story as clear for the concept as I possibly can. Modern day theater is less about language than Elizabethan theater was. So we have to be sensitive to our modern audience. I'm certainly not a pundit. I'm a man of the theater today, and I have to take our Hamlet and ask myself, well, what do I want to say with this production? Why are we doing Hamlet right here, right now? Why at Kent State now? When I was, how old was I? Probably 12 or 13, if that. When Martin Luther King was assassinated, I was walking down the street, and a police officer whom our family knew pulled over and said, on the day of the assassination, said to me, "Did you hear they killed the son of a bitch?" And I didn't know what he was talking about. He said, "King, they shot King." And then he drove away. I was playing football in high school at the time, junior high and high school, and I would look around and I would question racism in my young mind because these young black men were working just as hard or harder than I was working, and we were a team, we were a community. And it was only after that community was separated did racism think to occur again. So in thinking about Hamlet, I decided to make Hamlet a Muslim because it's timely. We've talked about Muslims in the White House. We have a black president. Claudius will be a Christian. So that sets up conflict between them immediately, and could be a reason one could think that Claudius might have killed his brother so that office would not become Muslim or be ruled by a Muslim. And so that's a connection for me. The king assassination and making Hamlet Muslim. We haven't solved the problem of racism in America by any means, but we've sure put a dent in it. We have a black president, and why can't we solve the problem now of Christian and Muslim? Why can't we solve the problem of greed? And these are big problems in Hamlet. And so I'm just enhancing that theme by making him Muslim.
And your production is set, as you say, in the future, but not futuristic. So some of these problems that we see today have been solved by the people that are inhabiting your world.
Exactly. For instance, since Hamlet's Muslim, his best friend is Horatio, and in this production, Horatio is a woman, and that was by design. Okay, we can solve that problem maybe, that men and women can be friends no matter what the religion is, but we still can't solve that problem of at the very root of power and greed, individual greed.
Where are you as far as the set and light design that are kind of creating the mood of this particular Elsinore?
This particular Elsinore is going to be set in an Oval Office in Denmark, and on the floor will be a big emblem of the country. But above that, in the theater, above the floor, going all the way up to the grid, it gets more and more warlike and chaotic. So we have the pristineness of the Oval Office and the politic. And then as we got out into the world, of the real world of the play, the chaos and the war, it's devastation. When you put it on the stage, you have to look at one thing. Just before I left California, I directed a production of King Lear. The man who played King Lear was a faculty member. I've been teaching King Lear for 30 years, graduate of Yale. And he asked me if I would direct him in it. And I thought, my God, this guy's been teaching Lear for 30 years in the classroom. And as we got into the rehearsal process, and there was a very clear concept, just like Hamlet. It's very, very simple, really. He would often say things to me like, well, I never thought about that before. Mm-hmm. Just because it's a different way of approaching the play.